Easy to get into, hard to maintain.
Yes, yes. Oh, oh, oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Heavens to Murgatroyd!
I'll have what she's having.
Oh my God! My lady, come, my lady. My lady, come, my lady. My lady, come, my lady.
Good evening. This is S. Michael, and with me, as always, is
Christine. Honey.
I didn't get to say AKA.
Sorry. I got confused.
Yes, Christine, AKA Honey.
Yeah, that's me.
And we are, what are we, baby? You remember?
Unfiltered? Oh, no. Dark? No.
No, obviously we're the Scared
Dead.
Shitless podcast.
Oh, Scared
No, now we're Scared Titless.
Yeah. We
That'd be a
are...
great name for a show, wouldn't it? The Scared Titless podcast?
Not really.
No?
No, I don't think so.
If it were boobless people talking about scary movies.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's men, right?
Men and women who have no boobs.
Yeah.
Scared Titless.
We are Taboo, a couple's journey into the depths of sexual depravity.
You're so depraved.
I know.
We heard the word depraved tonight, I think, like 30 freaking times prepping for this show.
Yeah.
So you want to tell them what tonight's topic is?
Did you come up with an official title?
No, but I mean,
It's
we know what it's about.
It's it's the taboo, the kink of amputee sex, amputee kink, amputee porn. I don't know.
Missing parts.
Getting turned on by missing limbs or medical. You know, I mean, there's like a whole community out there apparently, and I think people who are into, from what we've been seeing, people who are into specifically amputee kind of fetishes tends to sort of be a medical thing. They like almost anything medical. I was just watching something about an amputee kink community, and it wasn't just missing limbs. It was even wired together jaws and braces and other just medical
So apparently
things.
for a large portion of the amputee fetish community, there is a surgical component.
Well, they would even get turned on by seeing if you came home and you had stitches, anything that's modifying the skin or the body in any way in a medical sense. It's their thing. They like
So
it.
I'm wondering, should we include body modification, extreme,
Well, I think extreme body modification is amputation.
Well, not necessarily, right? I mean, there's people who implant spikes in their head.
Well, Christopher has that implant in his thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's people who I'm saw.
Sorry, my son.
Yeah, I saw one where a guy had removed his penis and kept the flap of flesh over it and cut a hole in it and inserted a dildo through it so that it looked like he had a huge cock, but
What?
his cock was gone and he was sporting this dildo basically, and he was flopping it around, and that was part of the BME Pain Olympics.
What, did he sew it onto himself?
No, so he had a hole in a flap of skin over where his cock used to be.
Oh, so it was a prosthetic.
Yeah. Well, it was an actual dildo that he slid through.
No,
the
I know,
hole,
but
yeah.
it was a prosthetic. He
I mean,
created
yes,
a
technically,
prosthetic.
Yeah, homemade prosthetic.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
I've seen lots of penis removal, self removals.
Isn't that crazy though? Because before he did that, he could have an orgasm. Now he can't. But he
can. He just can't do it in the classic sense. He didn't remove his testicles.
How is he going to have an orgasm without friction against something that, I mean, where's it happening?
Well, for one, he still has a prostate.
Okay,
for,
but
for two, you can get excited enough without stimulating yourself to have an orgasm. I've done it.
Yeah, I'm not doubting any of that. I'm just saying he's not going to be able to ejaculate anymore. He can't have that kind of an orgasm. That's,
No.
Obviously,
again,
that's what I
not in the
meant.
classic sense.
No. Of course, he can still get.
I mean, but I think
stimulated
that's part of what is getting him off is the destruction of it, and
Yeah.
that's real similar to like anal destruction, where people are into prolapses and shit. And we'll get to that kink eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, tonight we're focusing mainly on amputee porn, amputee kinks, fetishes, and whatnot, but also to a lesser extent, extreme body modification.
Yeah, we sort of jumped right into that. All we're supposed to be doing is telling the title here.
Oh, do you think they want to hear an update on our relationship and lifestyle activities?
Not really. There's nothing really to say.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, we are pretty much exactly where we were last week. So, there's not a whole lot to update.
Until I get, to where I can be alive again. We're sort of in a holding pattern.
Yeah, we're hibernating, we're healing, we're enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, nothing's really
Eating
happening.
a lot of ice cream.
Unfortunately. Mike is a very bad influence on me.
Hey, isn't that what they give kids in the hospital when they have their tonsils removed? It works for grown-ups too.
He's a bad influence. If it's left to him, I would almost say he's a feeder. Maybe we need to do feeder fetish.
Oh, we'll definitely do that one.
Yeah, because he likes to give me ice cream.
I do.
And
I think of 9.5 weeks. Remember that where they're doing
no,
all the
he
food
doesn't. He
things?
doesn't give me ice cream and fuck me or anything. He doesn't have a food. No, he just likes me to be in it with him. That's all. Yeah.
Maybe I want you to put on about 100 pounds so you don't leave me.
Oh, good Lord. See, I'm gonna stop.
Stop eating?
You're gonna make me stop eating because
Maybe that's my actual fetish is anorexia.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, so there, as you can see, there is nothing happening here.
I kind of just jump from kink to kink. I can't help it.
He does.
My latest kink is amputee.
Yeah, he is definitely a love the one you're with kind of person.
Well, variety is the spice of life, so even the one I'm with has got to do different shit from time to time, or I'm going to get bored. So,
Oh, I did it big.
yeah, I mean, we've done shit, everything under the fucking sun.
No, I mean, I cut my boobs off. That's
Oh, yeah.
a big
Yeah,
change.
talk about taking one for the team.
Right.
I told her, I'm like, baby, I just, I love your boobs, but
He's like,
everything
I'm so bored.
peaks, okay? The
I'm
peaks.
so bored. I'm
your
so bored.
peaks have peaked.
Yeah.
I need something new. I need
It's like, do
something
it.
different.
Do something for me, babe. What do you got? What do you got in your bag of tricks, huh?
So I don't know what we're going to do after I get
We're
bored.
going to cut his cock off. Boy, yeah, that got really silent.
I think we've gone far enough with the dark humor, okay? But, I mean, seriously, what are we going to do after I get bored with your flatness? Because
Excuse me?
you're a smoothie now. I love it. I have a nice new nickname for her. My honey smoothie. No, I found out that there is an actual community of people who call themselves smoothies because they are into the fact that there's no breast, there's no hair, there's no nothing. It's just flat and smooth. And so they call themselves smoothies. And I guess I'm a smoothie now, or she is.
You're not.
Well, if that's what I'm into, maybe.
Okay, but you're not a smoothie.
Well, furry
I would be
call
a
themselves a furry, so somebody who's into the smoothness call themselves a
But
smoothie.
the furry is the person that's dressed up. That's the furry.
Or
It's
it
a
could be
furry
somebody who's
community.
into somebody who's dressed in
Yeah,
fur.
I think there's a different name for them. Freak?
Like a... I guess, yeah, I'm a freak and she's a smoothie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not shaming. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
you're a freak too. What? You're a freak smoothie.
So this is where we are. As you can see, we are exactly the same as usual.
Yeah, we just riff on each other all day and
Yeah.
watch stupid videos.
Yeah. Just start laughing sometimes pretty freaking hard.
I was going to look up some amputee porn, but I don't know. I kind of thought better of it and just thought, I'd go ahead and wing it because I really don't feel like looking at that. But I've seen it before.
Yeah, mine.
It's out there. Well, I'm talking about people missing limbs and
I am. Boobs are my limbs.
boobs are not limbs.
Yeah, they are.
What are boobs? Are they organs?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, boob is really not an amputation. It's a removal of an organ. Because if you lose a spleen, you're not called an amputee. And breasts are organs.
Okay, but that sort of leans more into the extreme body modification. Yeah, we had a few long conversations with AI the other day and just had to do a deep dive, tell me about the breast removal community. And what I was most interested in was has anybody had their breasts removed on purpose for a non-surgical reason and a non-trans reason? Because obviously people who are born female who want to transition to male they oftentimes will go through that procedure and,
I did
get
it.
top surgery or whatever.
I did my question a little different. I just said, has anybody had their breast removed for a sexual or kink fetish reason? And the answer was yes. Yes.
But it's super rare.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
It didn't say it was super rare, but it did say, I mean, it's not like it's happening all over the place, but it didn't really classify it as super rare.
Well, mine did, and when I eventually tweaked everything so that it would answer what I actually wanted to hear, which was not a bunch of jargon about sometimes people get it done as preventive surgery, sometimes trans people get it as top surgery or whatever.
I think I must have asked it right, because mine didn't even try to bullshit me like that. It just went straight into the sex.
So ChatGPT is all about like political correctness and being polite and not being dirty unless you force it to. And after I eventually forced it to be dirty with me, I said, no, listen, I just want to hear about the kinky shit. I want to hear about the fetish websites, the porn. And eventually it got around to it and admitted, yes, there is a small community of people out. That's where I learned about smoothies. They call themselves smoothies. There is a small community out there of people who that is their kink, is removal of the breasts, but more common is removal of the nipple.
Even the video that I was watching tonight about the amputee community, the kink community, they were talking about that. Some people just remove a portion of their nipples just to, be able to join that modification community. Yeah.
So you've got a leg up now. I mean, once you're all healed up and you get everything that you want done aesthetically, you'll be a superstar,
I will.
Yeah, because you're pretty and you now have a flat chest and you can go on there and say, hey, smoothies.
Smoothies.
Check these out. I mean, check out the lack thereof of these, however you would phrase it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about amputee kink and fetish?
I mean, I can, get into anything just about, especially if I've got chemical assistance or whatever. Try anything once. No, have I ever been turned on by limbless people? Not really. There's an old joke about a woman who marries a guy with a wooden leg and gets in a bed with him in the dark, and she puts her hand down there and it's his leg, it's his stump, it's not his cock. But no, I mean, there is, I guess, if you think about it hard enough, there's a power dynamic in a way. Like, she has no limbs, and so she's kind of an invalid. She, relies on, devices and people to care for her and shit like that. So I guess if you were into power kink, you could maybe get into that. Something I noticed on the one you were looking at earlier was there was a lot of pictures of people in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of like photo altering.
Well, that's what I was going to say. This one that I was watching, which was basically, it was a guy roasting the amputee kink community. And he kept saying, I'm not into kink shaming, but he was
pretty much what he was doing.
Yeah, he was making fun of their lack of creativity, really, because they just took people they were attracted to, mostly like celebrities, and some of them were probably, people they knew or pictures they saw on the internet of somebody they found attractive, and they were just putting them on. They were just photoshopping them onto.
Yeah, he wasn't necessarily kink shaming. So kind of in his defense, what it reminded me of was taxidermy. If you've ever seen the bad taxidermy photos where they show people who try to do taxidermy and it just looks like shit. It's basically he was making fun of bad Photoshop. So, but yes, unfortunately, apparently there's a shit ton of it on the amputee fetish community websites. So that's what he was making fun of, not necessarily the kink itself.
Yeah, but by doing so, we were able to see that this particular website, wherever he was, like 100% of everything he had on his site was women, and it didn't have to do with nudity. It just had to do with body.
Missing limbs.
Yeah, missing limbs, amputations, medical things, surgical things, dental, anything that caused, apparently anything that caused pain or modification to your body in some extreme way. that's what the guy was into. So he would take pictures of people he found attractive and he'd put them on those bodies that were in these various, positions of either in a wheelchair or in a body cast, or missing limbs, or he would actually have montages or collages, I guess, of people that, like famous people's faces, put onto the bodies the body of a person who, and it would show the collage of the person going through, say they're a gymnast and breaking their back, and you'd have the picture of them breaking their back, and it'd have the face of the person he was attracted to superimposed onto that body as it was breaking.
So
its
it's
back.
like a trauma kink, paraplegic kink.
Yeah, and he would take it through the whole thing, the whole process, watch it happen, and then have her like in a hospital bed, and then have her in a wheelchair, and
they probably love the medical problems section on documenting reality. I mean, there's tons
like medical
of
mysteries,
amputations and sex change operations, castrations.
The one thing I will say is there was no blood, there was no gore or anything like that. None in all the pictures that I saw. There was
they
nothing.
probably don't allow it on that particular site.
It just wasn't present.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed a lot of stuff, and there just wasn't anything there. I honestly, I don't think this person, which is, for me at least, is a small representation of what this kink looks like. It shows me that he's not into the gore of it or anything. He's not getting off on some horrendous accidents. Although apparently
breaking your back.
Yeah, apparently he's interested in how they got there, because he did have some of those, but he didn't have terrible accidents that showed gore, and then the person how they ended up.
No, just the aftermath of the inability to walk.
Correct,
or whatever.
Correct.
It seems strange to me. It's almost like a little bit of Munchausen syndrome in there, enjoying
kind of.
the, invalidity of it or whatever.
Yeah, kind of, getting off on somebody. Well, was it you that said, I think you just said about the power exchange.
Yeah, the power dynamic.
There's an exchange of power. The invalid gives you such power if you're the person that's taking care of them.
And hopefully consensually, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, but we don't know what that particular kink community is all about either. I didn't get the impression, again, that they're into, nothing that I've seen shows me that it's about non-consensual anything. It's it probably is just all about being very attracted to people.
Vulnerability or fragility or medical fragility.
Yeah, and the body modification, which is probably representative of the vulnerability. We're getting a little deep here with the psychology. It might not be all that deep. It just could simply be that they just love the way a limb looks cut off. Maybe they just like the way it's rounded and soft. I don't know. I'm not into that particular kink or fetish, so I don't know the dynamics behind it. I would imagine it's like any kink or fetish, and the motivation and dynamics can be varied based on the people.
Well, again, most episodes, pretty much every episode, we try to apply the particular taboo to ourselves if it's something that we've come across. You did camming for a long time, the OnlyFans and the Chatterbait stuff. Did you ever run across any sort of amputee or body modification style requests or anything like that? No. I can't say that I really talked to anybody who wanted to, role play that you're a paraplegic, or role play that that you lost your arm, or anything like that. Role play that you're in a bed and I have to take care of you. No, I can't say that I had anybody do that. The closest that I had was like tonight, again, when I was watching these videos, some of the people, they go so far as to they'll include the bags of diapers in the pictures, because obviously, if they're paraplegic or
certain issues, medical issues, are going to cause incontinence, or they may have an ostomy bag or something. And so I guess there may be some of that going on, and that would be the closest thing that I ever had. A request was sometimes you would get the men that, either they would want you to wear a diaper, or you'd put them in one, so I had men talk about something like that. I mean, not men, it wasn't a lot. It was like maybe one guy. It wasn't anything I was going to do. So that was not on my menu. So it wasn't.
I guess it would almost be comparable to like an innocence kink. It's somebody who
it's vulnerability.
Yeah, it's somebody who's vulnerable. They're in a fragile state. They require care from others.
And I'm sure that people. No, I'm not sure, but I would imagine people who have this this kink, if it lies towards the vulnerability side of things, then they probably could easily get into the age thing where, and hopefully we're talking just role play, where they role play with somebody that they're a lot younger and have to be taken care of, because that sounds like that may be what they're into, is they get off on, taking care of somebody, having somebody depend on them. And again, I'm pretty darn sure that's not the dynamic for everybody. I think for some people it's just the fact that they don't have a limb. And that's as deep as it goes. They just get off on the fact that it was cut off. And for some people it probably has a lot to do with the thought of them medically having their limbs sawed off. They really, really think about the medical side of it. And for some people, it's the aesthetics of it. They like to look at the missing limb. For some people, it's the vulnerability of it. They like somebody to be dependent upon them. So there's a lot of different reasons that a person could be into it.
So to apply it to myself, really, again, the closest thing that I can relate to that is, Honey's surgery.
Yeah.
And she's had her breasts removed. She has a scar now, and the bandages are gone, and the scar's, still healing up. It's not quite in that final smooth phase or whatever, but it's getting there.
And I may have to have another surgery. Well, I will. So we'll have to go through this again to some extent. It won't be as big.
But all that to say, I guess in a way I have an amputation, quote unquote, kink, because I am very turned on by it.
He does.
Surprisingly enough.
He
like
does.
you can tell, right?
Yeah.
Like when we're fucking and I look at it and I touch it and you touch it, like it's fucking hot, you know? So somebody in this relationship is a smoothie or whatever.
So okay. Can you kind of expound on that? Can
like
you
why
say,
that is?
Yeah, what
well, so
turns
in
you
a
on
previous
about it?
episode, I recall talking about the first time, maybe the first couple of times we had sex after you got home from the hospital. And at first it was just the differentness of it and the strangeness of it
because I was
made
different
it kinky.
in
Yeah,
what I went
she
through.
had tubes coming out of her and these squeeze bottles or whatever that are taking the fluid out of her body. There were bandages. So it was different. It was like I'm fucking a robot or something. It's not a robot, but you know what I mean? It's just an alien almost. It was a very bizarre, strange experience.
Surreal. Yeah.
But it still felt great, and it looked not scary or gross, but just interesting. And so that added to the kink of it. But then now that, she's kind of past all that, and she's in this, not quite healed, but healing phase, and they're gone, it's even sexier to me. Like there's more flesh. There's more, I guess I'm into the smoothness of it, I like to look at it. I like to touch it. I mean, at night I'll just start rubbing it, which right now it feels strange because you're healing. But
I still have, they call it the iron bra kind of syndrome that you get about 5 to 6 weeks after surgery. I have that right now. So it feels very tight and weird. So when he touches it, I actually asked him last night because he was rubbing it, and I said, "Are you doing that hard? Because it feels like you are just."
And I wasn't. I was barely, caressing her, but to her it felt like I was, pushing down hard, and
yeah.
So we're making our way through this together.
So in the beginning, you explained
it was the differentness or whatever.
And, like alienness, and the tubes and the surgery and just the whole trauma of it.
I'm fucking a Martian. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, as I'm healing,
it's aesthetic. It's pleasing. It's again smooth. It's like when I rub my hand over your ass or your belly, or it's the smoothness of it. I really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can do that in an area where I was unable to do that before.
Right.
And that also somehow adds a level of kink. So
it's interesting, because women who get their breast removed a lot of times say, they make a comment that they were so in the way. Oh my God, they were so heavy, they were so obstructive, they now I can lay on my stomach, or I can.
So let me ask you this: I fucked you from behind the other night, and normally your boobs would have been flapping back and forth, right? Did you notice that they weren't?
I did not. But now that you mention it, that is definitely something that I'm going to pay attention to, because you are so right. That's going to be a whole. And maybe I did notice it. It was very enjoyable. I really, really loved it. Which, I always have loved it.
But that could have been part of what made it enjoyable.
That could have been part of it, because it is true. And I know it probably sounds weird to say, but now that they're gone, sure, there's times I'm like, wow. It's just I put my hands there, and it's like I'm so used to feeling, these mounds, and they're soft and
squeezable,
and then the nipple and everything, and now it's gone, but there's no heaviness there anymore. There's no awkwardness.
They're not going to get in the way of nothing.
They're not getting in the way of anything. My clothes, I don't have to, nothing. I don't have to worry about anything popping open, or I filled up a whole bag filled with bras today. Which was very, very weird. I'm what, 5-6
We
weeks?
should do the Viking funeral for your bras.
Well, I offered them to my daughter.
Oh, well.
But I don't. They may be too big for her, and I'm not going to give them to anyone else. And there's a lot. And there's like a lot of money in that bag, and I couldn't believe as I was throwing them out. I'm just like, geez. And there was no, I don't want to get rid of this one, or I don't want to get rid of that one. I literally can't wear them. So it was very easy to just fill the bag up full of all these bras, which in itself was a weird feeling, because I've tried to, and I'm sure if there's any women listening, they know what I'm talking about. It is very difficult to purge your bra drawer, because bras are expensive, and whenever you find one that is pretty and fits well, you just can't get rid of it. And I'm just throwing, because I just threw them all down on the ground, and then I picked them up and filled the bag. And I'm just throwing them down there, not even thinking. All I did was I went through that drawer, and I took out everything that was a bra, and I left everything that was a sports bra. Boom, period. It was the easiest thing I've ever done, yet the kind of, not hardest, but most surreal thing I've ever done, too. So on the one hand, it's been part of my life forever. They were part of me. But there are so many positives to it. No more boob sweat. You guys, you talk about, what is it, swamp ass?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you know what swamp ass feels like, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, we would get it not just in our ass, between our legs, we would get it under our breasts. Or we do. Women do.
Swamp boob. Okay.
Yes, it's terrible. So you'll see women.
Under boob.
Okay, so now pay attention, guys. You will see women in the summer. Notice it in either your women or just women that are out there. They really try to keep it incognito, but every once in a while they just gotta do it, because it's just horrible, right? You're dripping, and you will see them take their shirt and lift it out so that it's got some give in it, a little bit of give, and then they tuck it up underneath their boob and they wipe. And it's because they're dripping wet. It is just terrible, and I will never have boob sweat anymore, which is a really nice thing. So yeah, going back to what started this whole reminiscence of mine, doggy style, I will not have swinging boobs anymore, which at times was a little maybe inconvenient, when they'd slap me in the face.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
But they were also sexy. like I could lay down and they'd push out and there'd be mass, cleavage. And, you've got some pictures of me where I'm leaned over a table, smiling at the camera, and it's just, big old cleavage. But you know what? Those were the days.
Well, and there's always a silver lining. So, we talked about the other day when I gave you a hug, now that I can give you a full-on hug without hurting you.
Yeah.
And used to be if I gave her a hug, she had double Ds, and I got to feel the somewhat exciting sensation of squishing her boobs up against myself when I hugged her. But now they're gone, and it's even better. And how could that possibly be? They're gone. But the fact is, and I told her this, I said, I like it even better when I hug you now because I'm even closer to you. Like, I can feel your heartbeat next to mine, and there's no boobs in the way.
And it's true. It's true. I now am like him as far as our chest walls can touch. Whereas before, you were separated by breast. And I guess I never really thought about it until they were gone, where exactly they were located. Because, like, when I look at myself, I'm like, where? I even asked you, didn't I? Where were they?
Right.
Like, where, in relation to this incision, where were they? If that incision is, like, at the bottom of them, it's like, I don't know. The whole thing.
Well, it's like they stretched your skin that was above them and below them together and to meet in the middle. And so they were, I think, higher than the incision is where they were.
Yeah.
Which is probably why you're in some pain there, because your skin is stretched over.
And they've done it twice now.
Yeah.
They've done it twice.
From the top and the bottom. So.
Yeah, because they did it a second time, and they had to cut away a lot of skin and stretch it even more. So.
But to bring this back around to the, nullification, the kink side of, amputees. So there is a community that refers to themselves as the Nullo community, Nullo. And that has to do with the absence of a body part. And that's what their kink is.
And Nullo originated with eunuchs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're nullifying the male organ.
Yeah.
It's no longer there.
Organ,
and the hormones are no longer there. And technically they're no longer, well, not technically, but they're no longer a man. I mean,
and no, that's right. And eunuchs have been around for thousands of years. Eunuchs originated to protect the harem. They were the guards that were put into the harem to protect the women because
they're not going to be fucking them.
That's right. The king or whoever did not trust any men in the harem.
And talk about domination. Oh, I'm going to make you a beta. Okay.
Right. Can you imagine? Oh, you have the honor of the king wanting you as his guard for his harem. But the payoff is you have to become a eunuch.
Chop, chop.
Yeah. But they did it. They did it. It's sort of like in Game of Thrones. They had the Sully. The Sullied.
Yeah, the Unsullied.
The Unsullied.
Yeah, because they can't fuck, so they're Unsullied.
Correct. Yes.
So that is a kink in of itself and kind of started the whole Nullo movement.
Yeah.
I was telling Christine a few weeks ago, there was a guy here in Indiana who was a doctor, and he got busted for basically recruiting homeless people and at-risk people to purposely get their testicles removed. He would pay them all this money to allow him to remove their testicles and film it.
Yeah.
And then he would sell the films on the black market to fetishists. And he got busted. I mean, there was over 30 guys that he did this to. And then there's a famous case that we were just watching on YouTube where this doctor was doing that over there. And that doctor was, man, he...
Well, that guy... It was in the UK, and he was pretty famous. I mean, it's all over the place. He's been interviewed here in America and over there.
Well, because not just what he did to other people, but what he did to himself.
Well, originally he was in the news so much because he was honored for being a double amputee and being a surgeon. And the fact that he overcame and he continued being a surgeon, and his first surgery when he came back on his prosthetic legs was an amputation. But then when they found out that
he had done it on purpose to himself.
He had done it on purpose.
And collected a shit ton of insurance money.
And they started, his patients started coming back and getting worried, did I really need
an amputation?
Yeah, or did he do this as part of his kink? And so the National Health service over there had to come out and tell people they've investigated. No, that The
But
surgeries
it
were.
makes you raise an eyebrow, and it makes you wonder, do doctors who specialize in amputation, is it possible that they have an amputation kink? It's like gynecologists.
Or do they develop
Are they really
them?
into pussy,
Or do they develop them? Maybe.
Yeah, over time. Like
over
I've
time.
seen so much that it's like the old rumor that, bodybuilders turn gay because they become so obsessed with the male physique. Maybe that does happen. I don't know. But, it sounds like bunk to me. But it's like morticians, are more likely to fuck corpses. Boy Scout leaders, well, we won't go there, but,
So isn't it kind of funny that you have all these sayings that, they did this so they became obsessed with it. Yet when it does come to gynecologist, the saying is, yeah, but you become a gynecologist in college because you like pussy, and then you end up hating pussy because you see it all the time. It's like, why is the gynecologist the only one out of all of these things that becomes adverse to it rather than creates a kink over it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I've seen enough horror stories of gynecologists doing shit to women.
I think I know why. I have a theory.
Yeah? Let's hear it.
My theory is all the gynecologists, which are mostly men, and this is only the men gynecologists, that get together and they have their man gynecologist meetings, and they're like, remember the story, guys. We hate pussy. We hate it. We hate it.
I love that one because I got an even better one. So this idea that women suffer in childbirth, it actually doesn't hurt. So from the time they're little girls, they're told by their mothers, hey, this is something we need to hold over men, for the rest of their lives, that we give birth and it hurts.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
Sure it does. They just,
Really? You think a baby coming out of that makes sense that it wouldn't hurt?
Well, it's designed to. It's been happening since the dawn of time.
Your ass is designed to release poop, but if something really huge came out of it, it could hurt,
Well,
right?
how come cats and horses don't cry and
Excuse
whine
me.
and scream
Oh, well, that's
when
an
they
animal.
give birth?
Animals
well, so are
don't.
you. You're an ape.
Okay, common sense tells
A very
you.
beautiful ape.
Common sense tells you that something this big, having something this big, and ripping it can't feel good. We all know that's just dumb.
Have you ever seen a gorilla give birth?
But a man, a whole group of men saying, don't let our wives know we like looking at pussy every day. Now that is possible.
I don't know.
Fuck you.
I think
I
I
don't
might be
know.
a non-birth pain conspiracy theorist.
Oh, Lord.
I mean,
you know what?
how close
Guys,
we
get
are
ready.
to chimpanzees and
Guys,
orangutans
get
and
ready.
gorillas.
Get ready. We are going to do an episode of Mike giving birth. Okay? And we're
my
going to
ass?
test his theory.
I'd like that too much.
I am going to
Stretch my asshole.
shove something up his ass so big he won't like it because he likes big things up his ass. And I know you love hearing that. I'm going to figure out something jagged.
What?
Something, well, hey,
Jagged?
it won't hurt.
Babies' heads aren't jagged.
Oh, but when their ass comes out or their feet come out first,
Still not jagged. It's rounded.
no, we're finding something ill-shaped. It's not going to be perfect,
Okay. We can
and
get
it's
some
going to
baby
be
dolls.
very
Yeah,
large,
let's get baby dolls. Let's get one of those baby alive things.
very
Stick it in
large,
my
and
ass.
we are going to shove it up there. I mean, we can't make it come out. It's not a perfect world, but we're going to start putting things up there, and we are going to say when he rips. And there's blood, and we have to take him to get stitches. And he says, "Motherfucker, that hurts." I'm like, no,
Hey, I know
that
what
does not hurt.
I know what our next taboo of the week is going to be.
What?
Pregnancy kink.
No, we're not doing that.
Why
I mean,
not?
we can do it, but we're not going to do a whole bunch. I mean, not a whole episode.
You don't
of
think
just
we could squeeze a
pregnancy.
whole episode out of pregnancy kink? There's tons of pregnancy porn out there. Hell, one of my earliest... Never mind. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I'm certain that there's actual birth kink.
One of your
people.
earliest what? Go ahead.
No, that's a separate episode. I piqued your curiosity now, eh? No, I wasn't going to say it was with a pregnant person. It was putting a baby doll in my ass. I really wanted to know what it would feel like to give birth.
So anyway, this, I guess,
Extreme body modification / amputee porn.
I guess
kink.
all we got was a half hour, 40 minutes. And that was talking a little bit about the relationship. So not a very in-depth conversation, I'd say.
Oh, I mean, honestly, what else is there to say about amputation, kink / fetish? Again, there are entire communities devoted to it. It tends to be rare, like many of the other taboos that we talk about. the psychology behind it's very interesting, but there's not a whole lot of studies that's done on it. It's not something that people would report and be honest about anyway, even if you asked them. I don't know. Would you still want to fuck me if I had no arms and legs?
I have no idea. I've never been there. I don't like to say I would do something because I know that, I'm one of those never say never or never say ever or never say anything for sure kind of person, because you never know until it happens.
So you don't like hypotheticals?
I can try to do a hypothetical, but the caveat is knowing that it could change on a dime, 100%.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So I really need to put that into my bag of tricks, because you'd be asking me a lot of hypotheticals. So I'll just pull that one out and say, hey, remember that? Me too. I can turn on a dime. So whatever it was that I just said, whether it was
well, I only asked, just to clarify, since he brought it up, the hypotheticals that I ask him are like regarding relationships. I don't ask him like something like that. If I lost both my legs, would you still be attracted to me? I know that's that's a little hard to answer.
I can answer with a qualified yes.
You see, when people give definite answers to things that are kind of life-changing, like that, I always have doubt. But that's just me, because I've been through so many life-changing things, and I know that when I enter them, that I don't know where my mind's going to be when it actually unfolds and it happens.
That is really interesting, because one of the earlier episodes that we had, we talked about whatever kink that you're into should have something to do with the person that you're with, which is why you always, if you're with your significant other long term and you believe that is your person, that's your new normal, right? So if they're brunette, if they're overweight, if they have no boobs.
Yeah, that's something you talked about, yes, because that's how you function. You definitely are a person who, that's what I just got done saying about I said Mike's the kind of person who loves the one he's with. That's what I meant. Mike is the kind of person who, whatever his person is, he will be into. That's why you can say, oh, I unequivocally know 100% without a doubt that I would still be attracted, because he can make himself attracted to it.
And you don't feel like you can?
I don't know. I mean, I've honestly never been in that kind of a situation where I've never been in a relationship where something extreme has happened, or they've gained a lot of weight or lost a lot of weight or suddenly went bald, or I don't know, whatever could happen. I honestly have never, anything that could have happened, like with my first husband. He, was very much into drugs. I'm sure if we had stayed together, I would have been faced with something like that. But we didn't. So I left him way before that kind of stuff started happening. So yeah, and anybody else I was with, the same thing. I didn't, the only thing I've ever gone through in any of my relationships was my ex-husband, my last husband, my longest relationship. He had, two things. Once he had knee replacement surgery, and then once he had some sort of vertigo that put him on disability for like 3 months. He was completely helpless. So those are the only two things that I ever had to deal with in a relationship that completely upended our lives. And yeah, of course I stayed. But I also knew they were temporary,
I guess that begs the question of the whole for better or for worse, component.
Well, why do you think so many people get divorced? I think most human beings operate on whether they want to or not.
This isn't what I signed up for.
Well, I don't think it has to be that callous. Yes, some are that way. Just
apparently a lot in the cancer community.
Yeah, but I think that there are people who they don't. It's not that. It's just they don't know how they're going to react when the life-altering thing, the permanent life-altering thing, like losing a limb or something, or becoming a paraplegic, when it happens, they don't know. So my thing is, I know in my heart, because of who I am, and this is true, that no matter what would become of you. You know, paraplegic, wheelchair bound, bed bound, lose a limb. I would
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, whatever. I would be there. I'm not going anywhere. And I do know that. That I can say, but I cannot say what our relationship would look like or what I would feel like because I haven't been through that. I have no reference point.
Well, I have a little hope that if something catastrophic were to happen to me, that she'd still be able to fuck me and find me sexy. Because I do have some strange kinks. One of them is my larynx kink, which I've never run into with anyone else before. But I like to have my larynx jerked off like a cock. And she enjoys it. Like she'll jerk it off, and you know I'll be getting all into it, and that'll get her excited. And I think you said you almost came one time, right, from doing that to me. So that is so strange and different that I feel like if I did lose my legs or my arms or something catastrophic like that, or I had a Franken cock, right, where it gets cut off and then reattached, that she would find a way to make it work if she knew that it was pleasing to me.
Look, you are right. You're not wrong. We tend to love each other enough that we seem that way. You know that you're that way. Apparently you have faced these sorts of challenges.
I guess I know where you're coming from, though. It's like when people say things like, I don't believe in the death penalty, which on paper I don't, okay? There's lots of reasons to be against the death penalty.
Then when you're
faced with it happens to your family, and you're facing somebody, tortured and murdered my child, suddenly I'm not quite so sure whether I actually believe in the death penalty
and
or
that's
not.
Exactly the perfect
So I don't want
analogy.
to, it's like you said, never say never, or never say I definitely will,
that's
or
right.
whatever.
Until you face the situation. And that's why I just said, apparently Mike has faced things of this nature in past relationships, so he knows that he's capable of, changing his thought process or his attraction
there
or
is
whatever.
a lot of wisdom to the phrase, you don't know how you're going to act until you're in that situation, for sure. But there's also, a certain amount of life experience and lived experience where if you have been through those sorts of situations, and you've had some, like you described a couple of, similar situations with your ex.
And like I just said, I know that I love you enough, and I do know about myself that I'm fiercely loyal, and I don't give up easily. So when you put those together with how much I love you, of course I'm going to stay and I'm going to figure it out. And I have no doubt that you're right, that I would be able to 100% be attracted to you in whatever shape you're in.
Yeah.
Because that's just who we are. And I think that has a lot to do with how much we love each other. At least for me, I've never been in a relationship before where I could, talk through this as we just have real time, and come to the conclusion that, no, you're right. I feel about you in a certain way that even though I don't know how I would react, and I can't sit here and say how I would because I've never been through anything like that, I'm pretty sure that...
Yeah, I would like to say, based on what I know about you and your adaptability and your eagerness to, love me the way I want to be loved, like role play. You went from being awkward about it and asking 1,000 questions to you're a fucking master now.
And I told him when we started, I'm like, I know this is irritating the shit out of you because every single time we have sex, I'd be like asking a million fucking questions. I'm like, I promise you, once I get it, I'm not asking anymore.
No, now she just pulls shit out of her ass, and I'm like, yep, I'm coming. And I get pissed.
He'll look at me and he'll be like, did you want me to come? Did you do that on purpose to hurry it up?
Yes. She never missed to either.
Well, no, I think I did. I think it was last night I tried to, but it didn't work. I was definitely trying.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it didn't work.
No, I probably just got tired. I'd be fucking a lot.
Yeah, he does. He if he says he got tired, it's because he already came 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that's true. I may not have had any fluid left.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm going like 40 minutes and, it's starting to get a little dry, it's
he
like...
He does fuck a long time.
Sometimes, yeah.
He does. So sometimes I
But that's kind of how I am, though. I'm always going to be a bit of an edgelord, so I just like the plateau of it. I don't want to come. I want to stay in the plateau. And
he gets mad. He gets so mad when I make him come. I gotta take a video for you guys so you can see this face. He turns his head sideways and he gets so pissed off. He's just like, fuck. He gets mad. I always know he doesn't even have to tell me he's coming because his face is, oh, fuck me. Why am I coming?
But so all this amputee talk, and the fact is we really don't have a lot to say about it. Because it is a subject of limited interest, to us, and I think in general.
Yeah.
However, there are some people who are really fucking into it, obviously. And so it gave me the thought that we are in the first season of our show. We're coming up, I think this is episode 16 now.
Yeah, I think so.
And
or it might be 17.
Yeah, so we're in the first season of our show. We have not had any guests on the show. And I think, I'm just brainstorming here, but I think in season 2, what I would like to do is revisit every kink that we visited in season 1.
And try to get a guest.
Try to get somebody who is an expert on that kink.
That's a good idea.
Or who is, involved in the community of that kink.
And I was just going to say, before you brought that up, I was going to say, so if there's anybody out there that is into this, we would love to have you as a guest.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even have to wait till season 2, just send us an email.
We can have them on now, and then we can have you back.
Yeah.
To, do it again.
Taboo a couple's journey at gmail.com. And yeah, you can also, we should tell them about our other shows too, yeah?
Yeah, everything will be in the description, but yeah, so I personally have, first off, we have another one together, and that's called Unfiltered Real Talk.
With Christine and S. Michael.
Yes. And that is more of a PG, sometimes R, but it's way, way, way more vanilla-ish.
Public friendly, general talk about dating and relationships.
Intimacy, the pitfalls of relationships. We try to keep it interesting. I think we do a pretty good job. It's once a week, Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. We do it live on YouTube, and you can find us there. Just subscribe and click that bell for the notifications. When we go on, you can join us and chat. And then me personally, I have my After Dark, which is Unfiltered After Dark with Honey, Hunny. So that's an offshoot of the Unfiltered show. And basically what it is it's going back to the original Unfiltered, when it was Unfiltered Real Sex Talk with Honey. It was before it evolved into what it is now. And it's funny because it evolved from my After Dark format. It evolved from that type of format into a kind of pretty PG format. And then I got rid of that co-host and I got Mike, and it evolved again into a little bit more risky at times, but much more laid back and friendlier, talking about
it's more conversational things. It's because I'm a little rough around the edges. I mean, I'm a Midwesterner. I'm into horror and dark shit and weird shit.
We don't shame each other for cussing and being crass. That's how I am a lot of the time. I like to make my point, and sometimes colorful language is the best way to get the point across, especially when it's a podcast. And so that's what we do on that show. On my After Dark show, like I said, it's an offshoot of that, and it's more of the original format where I just talk about
topics.
Yeah, very, very sexual topics. I talk about anything I want to. I am by myself, which is the way I like it sometimes. It's usually about 30 to 45 minutes long. And I just tackle a topic. Today's topic, I do it once a week right now, and there's no particular schedule because I'm still healing, and I just do it when I feel like it. But today's topic was dark fantasy, and I didn't just talk about what like dark fantasies. I talked about, are you able to talk to your partner about your dark fantasies? Should you talk to your partner about your dark fantasy? What is a dark fantasy? That's what I talk about, and so. That's one. And then I also have Dead Tit Society, which is a new podcast And it's
about your personal journey,
it's
right?
about my personal journey through cancer. And really, it doesn't have to do with, it's not going to concentrate on the cancer per se. I mean, obviously, I have to go through that, and introduce you to it and tell you about it. But what it's going to deal with more is how people deal with the cancer, how they deal with, I want to be an advocate for flat, is what it really comes down to.
Yeah, you're a smoothie now. You got to
Yeah.
talk about how sexy flatness is.
Yeah, because I discovered going through this that there's a lot of stigma out there when a woman chooses to go flat. And it's not just among the women and the men, it's also in the medical community still. I mean, even the doctors, the plastic surgeons,
They push in reconstruction.
they do. And I understand their point of view. Well, I understand. I don't like it, but I understand. When they hear I want to go flat, they lose interest because there's just not a lot of money in it. But reconstruction, implants, there's much more money in it.
Multiple surgeries, follow up. You know.
But there's a lot of problems. We're talking about women who had cancer, who have cancer. We're not talking about a healthy person going in with a healthy body, having body modification. We're talking about a ill person with not perfect body.
It's really not elective surgery.
No.
Which blows my mind when insurance companies try to get away with not covering it by saying, well,
it's cosmetic.
It's cosmetic, yeah. You don't need to remove both boobs just because you had cancer in one boob. Well, yeah, fuck you, I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to get cancer in the other one, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And now because I got cancer in one, my likelihood of getting cancer in the other one is, increased. So fuck you.
And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about men's and their reactions to their woman losing their breasts. I want to talk about
Fashion.
I want to talk about the fact that I believe a woman can be and should be and is as beautiful, feminine, sexy without breasts as she is with. I want to tackle the whole, you got to have breasts to be a woman. Bullshit. Yeah.
All the things. That's the one I'm most excited about. And I love all of our shows, but that one I think really has the potential to help a lot of people. But just to even be exciting in and of itself, even if, there aren't very many listeners.
Well, I'll tell you what. The whole reason that I really pulled the trigger on it was because in 1 week, I had several people approach me and tell me that...
You should tell your story.
Which one?
No, that you should tell your
I
story.
should tell my story. I thought he meant I should tell what happened.
No, not a specific story.
Yeah. Right. One person was just telling me that she had been talking to everybody in her life, friends and everybody, about my decisions, and almost 100% of the people, and they were women, and the men, were all like, why? Why would she remove both her breasts? Why would she do that? And so she told me, you don't know it, but you have inspired a lot of women to decide to totally change their minds and think, well, if this happens to me, I'm probably going to consider going flat and having a double mastectomy. So that was one thing. And then this nurse in the hospital, she just was all over me. You need to write a book. I love the way that you are dealing with this. I love the things that you're saying. It's all so true. And so she really pushed me. And then I think the final straw was my oncologist. Never met her before, didn't know her, went in there for my appointment, and she got like real close to me. She like put her hands out and touched me, and she said, I am so proud of you for making the decisions you made. And, I wish all women could think the way that you are and make these decisions, because you made the right decision. And I had both sides removed when I only had cancer in one. But when they got the pathology back, the unaffected breast had cells in it that were going to become cancerous. They were already changing. They just weren't there yet. And she was like, yeah, you did the right thing. And this is good. This is really good, what you did. And it was just there. I'm just like, people need to talk about this. And if I need to start the conversation, I will.
So, there's multiple reasons why I'm excited about her new show. And again, what's it called?
Dead Tit Society.
DeadTitSociety.com.
Yes.
it's, for one, it's like what she was talking about. She wants to be an advocate. She wants to spread awareness. She wants to talk about choices and options and all the things, right, when it comes to cancer and post-cancer.
I also
and
want to
shit.
tackle fashion.
Yes, I mean, that's another aspect of it that I'm excited about. Stuff that she couldn't wear when she was a double D, she can wear now,
Well, and I want to talk about, it's sort of the analogy that I use is with heavy women, with BBWs. BBWs for years had to
Shop at Lane Bryant.
Yeah, Lane Bryant, where they got off the rack clothes that tried to look similar to the fashionable stuff, but it was crap. I mean, I'm sorry, Lane Bryant, but I'm sure they're better now. But there was this whole change in the way that BBWs started being able to dress. Finally, fashion designers started looking at the bigger body and saying, we can make the same fashion type of thing for that body that we make for this body. We just make it for that body. And so larger women started being able to dress the way it would complement their body in a fashionable way. And they weren't just put into freaking potato sacks to hide everything. And I want to do that. I want to look at the fashions that are made for, breasted women and say, well, why can't flat-chested women wear that? It just needs to be designed with the thought of small chest.
Why can't they look feminine and sexy?
Yeah, because I hit the sites that I have found that do cater to flat-chested women.
They look like giant aprons almost.
Yeah, all of the designs tend to be the same. They have these puffy sleeves and this straight neckline, and they just look the same. They had some cute things, but for the most part, it was just all the same type of stuff, and I was bored. And I don't want that. And
you're like me, or you like the plunging.
I love plunging necklines. I love, I don't see why a woman that doesn't have cleavage to show off can't show off a nice chest. What's wrong with that? Men can wear an open shirt and it's sexy. So why can't a flat-chested woman rock a V-neck? And not just that, but a fitted dress or a fitted top.
Yeah. Sexy stuff.
Yes, sexy.
So speaking of sexy stuff, that is the third thing that I'm excited about with her new show, is that apparently, and we discovered this prepping for this show, there is a NOLO community. There is an entire community of people who are into the fact that she doesn't have boobs anymore. They're excited by, a breastless chest. And those people are going to want to check the shit out too. So, it's kind of like a captive audience. We have cancer survivors, we have NOLOs, we have, uninformed people who want to learn about the shit, the fashion side of it.
Yeah,
so
look, I mean, truth is, at this point, some of you have nodded off. You're like, just whatever, But there are people out there who are interested and want to know more. And, maybe they're a little excited at the thought
I guarantee you there's a NOLO fapping right now.
Okay, so those are
her shows, right?
Those
And
are my
our shows. And then I have my own horror-based show called the Scared Shitless Podcast. And we talk about scary movies that are actually scary. That's the only rule for, featuring a movie on our show, is that it actually has to be scary. It's not just like, your typical popcorn movie like, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, where it's fun, and it's exciting, fun to watch or whatever, but it's not actually scary. You don't get nightmares. The shit we talk about is actually scary. So if you're into scary movies, check us out. So I am doing some real-time shit right now. I asked her earlier what she thought about the Scared Titless podcast. She was like, meh, and I think she thought I was trying to apply it to her show. I love the name of her show. It's perfect. Dead Tit Society is fucking hilarious, and it's apropos. But what I would like to also do is a show with her, a separate podcast called the Scared Titless Podcast, where she and I talk about scary movies that we watch, and they don't have to be actually scary. They can just be anything that we want to watch, and then we'll talk about it on the show. What do you think?
See, we riff together pretty well when we're watching a movie, especially if it's kind of a crappy movie. What is it like? It's like the what's the name?
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah. So in that vein of thought, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. But it's like, how many podcasts can we have?
a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
You're retired. I have a part-time job and make enough money to meet my needs. I think we can handle it.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Awesome. All right, so tune into the Scared Titless podcast as well. Once we get that rolling, we'll post the link. But yeah, until next time, best of luck to everyone and anyone in all your sexual adventures.
Our next podcast topic
is
age gap.
Yeah, that's.
It's
I
not
think
really
that's
age gap,
age
but
kink.
it's age kink.
Yeah,
age kink.
yeah, that's what our plan was to do age kink for our next episode. But you never know, we could run into something.
Well, we could, but
exciting and
but right
kinky.
now that's tentatively what you can look forward to for next week.
Yeah, people who are into somebody who's either really young or really old, or
just a 30-year gap.
Yeah.
Or we will hit on all of it. We'll talk about the people who like to act like infants, and we'll talk about all of it.
But pedos, don't get too excited. We don't do anybody under 18 for the purposes of this show. So I don't care what the age of consent is in your state. So there's that. All right, but yes, until next time, best of luck to everyone and all your sexual adventures.
All right, we will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Actually, I think on the next episode, we should bust your anal cherry.
Oh, shut up.
I think that I need to take your anal virginity
Whatever. Yeah.
live.
Live.
Yes.
Whatever.
All right, so tune in. Peace.
Yeah, that's not happening.